So and just the market, a lot of people don't know about seed oil.
Yeah.
Because it's still, even in supposedly healthy food, and when you flip on the ingredients, you see all these seed oils.
It's tragic.
Even though people think they're buying something extra healthy. Yeah. So that is a huge blind spot for people. Yeah. We can list some of the bad oils.
Here's a list. Restaurants. Every freaking restaurant uses seed oils. Fast food, of course. You're getting your fries and your crappy food, and you're going into the convenience gas station and getting whenever the pie or the chips or the things that are laden with seed oils. There's stats like this many percentage, 55% of the items in the grocery store have seed oils in them. Most of us are aware of that, especially listening, watching the podcast. But when you go and dine out, from the worst restaurant to the medium, the chains like Olive Garden and whatever you want to talk about, Cheesecake Factory. I got into a dispute at P.F. Chang's and I wrote corporate headquarters. They didn't answer me. So then you don't answer me when I read a thoughtful, I go, you get a lot of emails like this that you ignore, do you? So anyway, I finally talked to somebody. And I said, why are you putting seed oils in your Brussels sprouts? And then I asked, can you please cook these in butter? And the waiter came back and said, I'm sorry, we can't do that. I'm like, you don't have butter in this giant restaurant with the big horses and the decoration? So anyway, I'm raising hell out there. But the finest restaurants, my son worked in one of the best restaurants in Los Angeles, extremely high price, $100 steaks. They got that crap in the kitchen and they're making their sauces and the stuff they're cooking in with these inexpensive oils. So dining out is your biggest risk. And then being an idiot and buying stupid stuff is your second biggest risk. So don't, you can go to a quality superfoods or natural foods market now and find some ice cream and some potato chips and things that are free from snacks and crackers and treats or whatever. We're not trying to completely disrupt your lifestyle. Not that any of those things are recommended, but you can clean up your act a little bit without this huge deprivation where like, what can I eat now?
So I think as far as oil, you almost can't only talk about what it's okay to eat because the list for bad oils is so long. So what are the oils that are actually good for you?
Here's a good way of thinking about it, where we're looking at the original food, like an olive. If you press an olive, it's very oily. It's a very high fat. Same with an avocado. Avocado oil, olive oil, these are rated as, approved because it's so simple to extract the oil from the original food. Now, when you have canola, corn, soybean, sunflower, safflower, you need heat, you need high temperature processing methods, you need chemical solvents because they're not nicely yielding a bunch of oil, soybeans and all that. So these are chemically refined agents in industrialized food. And when you're making oil and you heat it up, you oxidize it. So even with olive oil, they call it a smoke point in the restaurant, or avocado oil. You don't want your oil smoking in your stir fry, otherwise you've messed it up. So you want something that's more temperature stable. So saturated fats like...
But the Chinese cook, the oil is always smoking.
They're probably using sesame oil, which a lot of times, right?
Not the stir fry. Unfortunately, I grew up on vegetable oil, or peanut oil.
Yeah.
Whatever, cheap oil. I think that...
Yeah, I wonder, like, did your great-great-grandmother cook with lard or something? Or
lard. I remember my mom loved getting the lard.
Yeah.
When she was, kind of reducing the fat strips and then saving that and using that.
And look at, like, no one thinks anything of this change, but what a disaster. What a tragic shift into more, efficient. Now you can buy the bottle and pour it in the pan. So we want to stay away from all...
Yeah, so as far as oil, coconut oil?
Yeah, so coconut, the original product is high in fat, high in saturated fat. Monounsaturated fat is olive oil and avocado oil. And so those few oils are approved. And then there's another talk that, you don't need to be making this the centerpiece of your diet. And most people aren't, but, you can have a dressing on your salad that's really high quality, extra virgin, first cold press only olive oil grown domestically or grown fresh. Because when you go to the big box store and you see extra virgin olive oil, there's no regulation on that term. And a lot of that stuff is crap. It's super dated. It's been in there for months and months. It's been exposed to heat, light, and oxygen, which is how you oxidize oil. And even though it says extra virgin olive oil on the label, it's highly suspect. Here's how you can tell you're getting a good olive oil. You take a spoonful, you taste it, and it will burn the back of your throat if it's fresh. really strong. It's like, oh, you need to take a drink after. That's real olive oil. And you can get it from like the Olive Oil Club. I think if you Google Olive Oil Club or olive oil growers, there's like a monthly thing and they ship you this bottle of oil and it's handwritten on the side like a fine wine or another product that's quality and says, harvest date 9/22 or whatever. And you're getting something fresh and not adulterated by outside oils. Avocado oil, the great new sensation of the evolved food marketplace. They tested like 130 products. I think this is on Dr. Saladino's Fundamental Health podcast. They tested like 130 products containing avocado oil, and like almost all of them failed. Like it didn't really have it in there. It had a blend of other oils in there because they can just get away with saying, avocado oil potato chips, try these. These are better. And people respond because we're trying to do the best we can. And so it gets to be, now we're talking about really high refinement, but the first thing is like go in your pantry, throw out those bottled industrial seed oils, throw out those snacks that are made with that, and then be careful when you're dining out and ask politely, can you cook my meal and something else? And we're starting to make progress with this total eradication of the seed oils, and then all the processed carbohydrates would be the other tandem. And that's, all over the place. And mostly we've been talking about insulin in the progressive health space, talking about eating too many carbs, producing too much insulin, getting insulin resistance, getting heart disease, getting cancer. The seed oils are now coming to the forefront saying this is like the true cause of insulin resistance because it interferes with your body's ability to burn fat. So you become reliant on processed carbohydrates as your main energy source. And I'm kind of simplifying here because we're not going deep into this stuff, but there's so many great books and podcasts about this where if you can take this takeaway that the big three toxic modern foods are most likely going to kill you, they're going to be the driving factor in why you get disease and die, it seems like sufficient motivation to say, yeah, I think I'll clean up my diet. Yeah. And then so I was starting out saying the visceral fat is a sign that something's wrong with your metabolism, driven by mostly diet, possibly sleep, possibly over-exercising, possibly overeating. But I think we make too much of that where it's like, why are you overeating? Our satiety and appetite hormones are highly refined, and they have been throughout evolution. We're overeating because we're not generating energy internally properly because we're not eating real foods. And so instead of thinking about cutting back, it just eat as much healthy, nutritious food as you can every day, and we'll see how that works for you in 3 months or 6 months. Not many people are raising their hands saying, oh yeah, I listened to Brad and now I eat too many eggs every day and I have too much steak at night and I overdid it again on the broccoli stalks and I'm getting fat and out of shape. It just, the human can't do it. I mean, have you ever overeaten too many steaks and feeling terrible? Not likely as much as, oh yeah, I did kill a pint of ice cream one time after I was jet lagged and there was no food in the house. And, we do that all the time when we're deficient on energy and on nutrition. That's the diet
Right.
one. And the diet part two is like, what are you going to do now? Is you're going to go and find the, most nutrient dense foods on the planet and emphasize those in your dietary practice. And you can contend that you love these foods. These make you feel good. These are your favorites. You're more on this plant side and someone else is more on the meat and eggs and fish side. And so to put all that dispute aside, we do want to find the most nutritious. It's called nutrient dense as opposed to calorie dense. So the Twinkie is calorie dense, nutrient deficient, and a slice of liver that often regarded as the number one superfood, or oysters or salmon eggs or pasture raised eggs, or a kale, a seaweed salad, all the superstars that you can read about if you Google top 10 nutritious foods. These are the things that we want to come into center stage now.
So that's the diet portion. I mean, there's could be so much could be said about it because that's the obsession for the public and for